Welcome back, everyone. This is Everyone Loves Pirates, and I actually stopped what I was doing to show you something. So we need to build for our ship that we were working on in the previous episode. We need to build a cockpit, right? And if we look at the requirements for the cockpit, we're going to need, for the small ship, we're going to need 5 bulletproof glass and 5 displays. Now, I know, and I can show you, but I'm not going to run over there to show you real quick, but I know that requires silicone. And it's usually a fairly rare mineral, it seemed to me, at least in a previous playthrough. But all of this gray stuff here, all of that is silicone. Okay? We can fly over here, and here's one that I mined out that's floating around nice and slowly. Silicone ore. So, the interesting thing is, I noticed, as I was up here thinking about mining the stuff that was up here, one thing you got to be careful of, and you'll find this out on your own eventually if you mine close to your ship, is if I mine this, there's gravity. So it's going to fall away from me quickly because of the gravity. Not super quickly, I guess, because the gravity's not super high right here. And bump off this rock, and then suddenly, or not suddenly, but eventually it will come out of the gravity field here in whatever direction it was flowing in. So let's say it bumped off of there. It's going to go flying out in that direction wherever it may have to go. But as you've noticed, we have these little indentations here. And unfortunately, there's no gravity here, but if we expand our gravity field, we can mine all of this, as I believe I mentioned in a previous video, and have gravity help us just collect it down there, so we don't have to constantly be chasing it around. So that's what I want to do. So let's get over here. And this helped quite a bit by orienting our ship with the asteroid as we locked on our landing gear. It allows us to do this very simply. So let's jump into the control panel. I actually didn't have to go into the seat to do this. I can access any control panel. And I also want to show you, I did build a cargo container off screen just because I was sick of having to go back and forth and store stuff in the half taken apart reactor and all that kind of stuff. But any of these control panels, anything that we click on, even if we want to click on the container here, so that's where I stored a bunch of stuff. Here's a bunch of silicone I picked up earlier. We can access the control panel as long as we're on the same ship. So let's go to the gravity generator, and let's bump up the field depth. I think that's where we need to be. And I'm going to bump up the width a little bit more too, just to make sure that we're grabbing everything. But I don't think we need to be super high for this. The only problem with accessing it through there is we don't know how much energy we're using unless we're over there. But I think that should be fine. So we can figure this out just by jumping down here, see if we get gravity all the way down. We do not. So clearly I chose the wrong one. I never know how these are oriented. I should probably just go look at the gravity generator. I mean, clearly it's oriented like this, but I don't know. So it's going to be a little bit trial and error. I saved this for you guys. Probably should have figured it out on my own elsewhere. So height, even though we're going down instead of depth. And let's get here, which is where we want to be. Okay, so we got gravity all the way down to the bottom. And what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to do new station. Actually, I don't need to do new station. We have this building right here. That's even perfect. So this is our landing pad kind of deal. So let's get rid of that. We can just build right off of this. Now it's yellow, so we can't actually build there. But if we wanted to, I think this is just rock. If we want to get rid of some of the rock, I just kind of want stuff not to bump off the edge and go flying out of here. So the thought process is, look at all that rock just sitting nicely there. Stone. Not rock, stone. Kind of want to pick this up just so we don't have issues with stuff disappearing off the map. Unspawning because of stuff. Okay. There we go. That was enough. And that's actually probably plenty. I'm gonna build this out. Just so I don't think things will go through it, but I just want to be positive. Just to the line. There we go. And that's enough to make me think everything's gonna end up in here. And if we wanted to, we could continue to kind of just more or less get this more bowl-shaped, so it's less likely that things would fall out. And if we have a central focus point at the bottom, then everything's gonna, you know, we'll be able to pick up everything very, very quickly. A lot of this silicon, I don't want to go too crazy because I do have my number of items down fairly low. But since we do need a lot of silicone, this is going to help us quite a lot, even with this low gravity, of keeping it all in here. And even if we mined it from all the way up there. So we look, everything is just more or less right here. Like I said, you know, if this was all kind of sloped on every side, it'd be really quick. But it's a lot quicker than going around. And oops, maybe we get a little bit of no gravity there. Oh, actually, it's just the low gravity stuff. Probably better do this without the drill out. Okay. We check our inventory. Already got almost 2K silicone. And when we come to build, when we end up drilling with our ship, this will capture a lot of that lost ore as well. If we wanted to make this really efficient, we could probably just jack up the gravity while we're doing this for a little bit. What do we got? That's only 6 minutes worth of stuff. You guys don't want to watch me drill the whole time, but that should be enough to get started here. So I will continue on with building the ship. We will throw the silicone in here for now so we can get that started. Actually, that's making a lot. That's awesome. So we'll have plenty of that. I will get rid of my rocks in here. My stone. And get rid of that. So if we hold shift, we can grab 100 at a time. If we hold control, we can grab 10 at a time. Obviously, I'm going to take all of this. That's going to be more than enough for now. Put it in the assembler. And go to production. So we can make our bulletproof glass. We're going to need some gold to end up making the displays. We might as well, we know we need the bulletproof glass. It actually takes a lot of silicone to make the bulletproof glass. But it's very quick. So I might as well just throw that there. Yeah. Got those over here while we're in here. Okay, so I want my steel plates. I got quite a few. I'll grab another 100. Grab motors, grab computers, small steel tubes. Grab my large steel tubes. Don't really need metal grids right now. I do need interior plates. Okay, so let's head back up to our ship. Hopefully that was interesting for you. I figured it'd be better to show it to you. Show you how I did it instead of just show you what it was later. So I built that out. I realized this is really a lot longer than it needs to be. So I'm going to probably just kind of cut it off right about there, would be my guess. Let's look at the important stuff that we need now. Get rid of that. We need a gyroscope. We need a couple gyroscopes, and we need a small reactor. Actually, we need a couple of all of them, and I'll tell you why. So let's start with reactors. Reactors are obviously what power your ship. There is a way to feed them with the the uranium that they need. So they do have a hatch in the bottom. So you want to either connect that, you know, to a conveyor or to a container so that you can load them easily. So in this case, I'm going to rotate this one around so it's just smack dab onto that. Oh, I didn't grab construction components. It's always the one thing. Geronimo. Oh. Miss. Always miss. Really, I could stand with slightly more gravity, probably. But it's fun. Oh, that's why. Oh, no, there. I don't have a lot of them, though. I'm gonna grab a few more. I think I still have this ramp. I cannibalize some ramps. Wow, is that it? Just a quickest place to get it without changing how well anything worked. Come on, get me down to... Okay, I don't need these. And everything else I can use, more or less, I think. My head. Okay. Back to the reactor. Should have known because it was yellow that would be an issue. So I'm going to put one here. And just so it's somewhat protected, I always like having a backup. What do I want? There, that'll do it. Put one there. And we also need gyroscopes. This keeps our ship from just spinning around its axis like crazy. And on multiple occasions now, in creative and in survival, I made the mistake of only using one gyroscope. And no matter where I put it, it always seems somehow to get ripped off. Even if I put it behind my cockpit or something like that, I end up losing it. And it starts spinning around. So I'm going to want at least 2 of these because it's so hard. It's very hard to control your ship when it's just spinning around its axis. If you're far from home, you're kind of screwed. So I probably should put these farther away from each other. But I'll put the second one down maybe by the engine somewhere when I build the engines. What else do I need? I need an ore detector. Don't need it, but it helps. It'll give me a lot more distance on my ore detection. I'll just put it right. See, I got more room over here. There. And what else do I need? Spotlight's probably not a bad idea. Can't really hurt. Just throw it on top of the ore detector. How big is it? It's 1 by 1. I put it in front of the ore detector. Shouldn't change how good the ore detector works. If my light goes out, I know I'm in trouble of maybe ruining some of that stuff. Okay. That's not bad. We're going to need to build out the rest of our ship's hull. So, of course, we're in the cockpit, so we don't really... You know, nothing's pressurized anyways. There's no atmosphere anywhere yet in the game. So you're always in your thing. So, you know, you're tempted, oh, well, I'll use less materials and I'll build an open ship. Problem with that is, if things aren't connected very well to the ship, so this is probably why I've lost my gyroscopes and other things in the past. Like, gyroscope, or like I had a large container that was connected to my ship via one point. And it just ripped off and died, and I lost it. So you're going to want to, come on. You're really going to want to enclose the ship, or at least get a lot of the important stuff to have more than one contact point. So like blocks here, here, all around it, so that it's not going to go flying off into space because you moved too quickly or something like that. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And let's see. Let's kind of do... No. Sorry, I probably should have planned it out ahead of time, but... let's do this right away. If it wasn't for having that there, I would have moved all this back one, too, so I didn't have stuff right behind the cockpit. This is adding mass to the ship, though, too. So the more mass you add, the more you have to move with your thrusters. And let's get some thrusters on here as well. So we're going to need them in all directions. In any direction you'll ever want to move the ship, you're going to want thrusters. So while we're here, we have... Come on, all the way through. Just don't want to have it get that one as well. Thruster. These are going to be our downward thrusters. Now, you may want more than 2 in each direction. If this was a symmetrical ship, I would do 3 in each direction at least, and maybe I could get away with 4. I mean, it's not going to be that heavy. I think it's always better to have extra thrust. I mean, these don't take a whole lot to use. We're going to be using up and down a lot as we're mining. Okay. There we go. Now we're going to want to go sideways. What do you think? I think 4 was an overkill. Actually, if we get rid of this, now that we have the structure there, get rid of... I hate that. These are sticking off the edge. I don't want to stick them off the edge. Oh. I might just leave my jetpack on for now. Who cares about the energy? Okay, let's try this over again. So anything sticking out is at risk. So let's do it this way. I gotta be careful now not to get rid of those thrusters, or else my ship will break apart and go flying off into space. So the landing gear is over here. Okay. Let's do this. Let's do 1, 2, 3. It's like, am I going to want to strafe more or go up and down more? Let's do this. Probably 3 would be my guess. And then on top of that, now. Well, maybe I'll do 2. Yeah, I'm able to stick with 2 in every direction. I mean, they're a little exposed. You can always do more going forward. We can get moving fast. Now, the interesting thing is we need some pointing forward. Oftentimes, it's best to put it at the front of the ship, just to keep it out of harm's way. I mean, we can put it here, pointing forward, but it could burn anything that's in front of it. We do have thruster damage on. I mean, if it's far enough away, we have an open area in our ship, we could do that, but then our ship isn't as structurally sound anymore either, so... So let's just kind of put them by our head a little bit. That looks good. Put it further, one further back. We can stagger them like that a little bit. Oops. Is that in the right spot? Yeah. There we go. Kind of hard to look at, but it'll look a lot better once we work on all this stuff. And yeah, this allows us to put 2 more on the back. This is actually the only thing sticking out that far. Pull them in a little bit more. Who cares? Don't always need to be so particular. Okay, so let's get some... So hard to get these things done sometimes. It won't be ideal, but it'll be good enough for our purposes. And we don't want to block anything in before we... so that we couldn't, you know, reach it with our welder. And so, for instance, we would want to get these before we put anything else in the middle. Oh, I can't reach in there. It's too wide. You think I would be able to just get to there. Come on. Before the energy runs out of my ship. Oh, that's a thruster. That's why. So we can't reach the thruster from the back. Which means we can put a backup gyroscope. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's put it there. We're down to 10% on our thing. I am watching that. Gyroscope. There. And that's probably good enough. Okay. So, that's it for this episode. I think that's a pretty good amount of stuff in here. In between episodes, I will pretty much fill all that out. And in the next episode, we'll get to use our miner. See you all then.